the Trump White House.
Yeah,
what can
my
you
best
share?
guess is that President Trump didn't know about this new Pentagon plan because that answer makes him sound like he's on a very different page from his Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth. All year long, Hegseth has been trying to limit independent news coverage of the Pentagon and of the U.S. military. Hegseth's press office has booted some news outlets, including CNN, from longtime Pentagon workspaces, and has brought in pro-Trump news outlets instead. We've also seen efforts to restrict where reporters can travel within the Pentagon complex, but now this new memo is by far the most severe restriction yet. According to a memo from the Pentagon's press office, beat reporters who have press credentials to be at the Pentagon will now have to sign a pledge not to obtain or use unauthorized material. And the definition of unauthorized is so broad that it could basically punish reporters for doing their day-to-day work. Courts have long upheld that journalists are able and free to report on government secrets to inform the public what is going on with their taxpayer dollars. But this new Pentagon policy, it really tries to stop that. It really tries to stop leaks by going so far that it would threaten basically all the members of the Pentagon press corps with having their press credentials revoked at any given time. So we are likely to see media outlets push back strongly against this.
Right. I mean, there's a thing called prior restraint. Right? Tell us more about the legal aspect of this.
And that's what a spokesperson for the Freedom of the Press Foundation brought up to me over the weekend, Pamela. He said this policy operates as a prior restraint on publication, which is considered the most serious of First Amendment violations. The New York Times also cited the constitutional protections of the free press in a statement over the weekend. The Wall Street Journal called this new policy deeply disturbing. And NPR's editor-in-chief said he will be working with other news outlets to, quote, push back. Right now, media lawyers and newsroom leaders are evaluating this memo, and they're figuring out the next steps because it is likely there will be some sort of legal battle over this Pentagon attempt to restrict reporting. After all, the U.S. military, the people who work in the Pentagon, they are there working on behalf of the American people. And journalists at the Pentagon, they just want to report on that so we're all better informed.
And for those who don't know what prior restraint is, it is defined by the government taking action to censor speech or to block publication, for example. Brian Stelter, thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. And this is a subject very close to me.
Yeah,
I spent several years as a Pentagon correspondent during the first Gulf War, and it's hard for me to believe that Pentagon reporters would lose their credentials, lose their opportunity to report from the Pentagon, even if they reported some innocuous statement or whatever that hadn't been formally announced by the Pentagon. Forget about classified information. This is unclassified information. They would lose their press credentials if they reported it. Only what the Pentagon puts out publicly in press releases could reporters report, and that's not journalism.
That's not freedom of the press, that's
no,
for sure.
Not.
All right, just ahead.